All right, here we go. Welcome to the Nois Bois Show.
Hello.
My name's Trevor,
My name is Austin.
and I think last time we did a kind of short, or not short. We did an introduction about us and the friend group and who we are. And I think really the one thing that kind of brings us all together as a group is gaming, right?
That's one. I think that's one of the few things we all have in common.
Yeah, exactly.
Outside of going to high school. Actually, no, you don't even have that in common.
Well, yeah, kind of.
No,
it's close. Jake didn't go. Well, he did for he would have, but then he moved.
Okay, but he didn't.
Right.
Not important.
But yeah. So yeah, games. Let's talk about games. That's what this podcast is gonna be about. I'm sure there's gonna be more podcasts about games too.
So,
but
I want to ask you, what? I guess we already discussed the whole Xbox year review, but what games have you played the most this year? What do you find the most interesting?
Yeah.
Maybe genres, specific games, something like that.
Oh man. So I'm not proud of it. No, that's not true.
Is it Fortnite?
It's Fortnite and then Minecraft.
You still enjoy Fortnite?
I do occasionally. Okay. I can't play it a lot, and I recently have gotten better at stopping before I get mad instead of getting mad and then stopping.
I just don't even get mad because the game's not even worth getting mad over anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm just not that good at it. I thought I was good at it, and then they kept changing it, and people kept getting better, and I didn't.
Well, because if you think about it, there are people that they only play one game, and that's the one game that a lot of people play. Plus, it's also free to play, which makes it really easy.
Exactly.
I would say I like to play shooter games a lot, and I like to play Rocket League.
Yep, which isn't a shooter.
Yes, it's not, but I don't get tired of that game. I can't explain that. Minecraft is alright. I think it's fun if you just want to create your own stuff. It's an interesting concept for a game. Whereas most games are about destruction, the game's usually about construction.
Yeah, Minecraft is a completely non-competitive game. If you're losing all your matches in Rocket League, Fortnite, you can go ahead and take a break, chop down some trees.
So we had a little discussion about this in our last podcast that got corrupted.
Yeah, it did.
About games being repetitive. And I said that being repetitive is a good thing.
Okay.
Whereas you said being repetitive is what made games boring. I don't know if I changed your mind on that, because I did mention that consistency is good and consistency is repetitive. Yeah.
No, so we kind of said that repetition in games is necessary, but it's often the thing that people like and dislike about games.
Yes, and I think the only time that repetition is used as a negative aspect for a game is when people don't enjoy the game anymore.
Yeah. Because
they're saying, well, I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. But that's pretty much most games. Most games, you're not going to be doing something different. Because if you're doing something different every single game, every single round, every time you hop on and play it, it's probably not a good game.
Right.
That's the way I think.
Right, exactly. But when there's games like League of Legends, right, where
at its core, you should be doing the same thing.
Yeah, you play on one map pretty much, and it's 5 versus 5 from the same character pool over and over.
And it's pretty much got top, mid, jungle, ADC carry, or ADC support. My bad.
But then the reason it's not repetitive is because they keep adding onto it. We also talked about how free games that have microtransactions are good.
That's a topic I actually want to talk about later.
Yeah. But yeah, games like that where they continue to update their game make it so a game that would be repetitive and you'd get tired of has new things to continue trying out, even if you're I don't really know if I want to play. Then you're oh, well, they added a new character, let me try them out. It brings you back to it.
So something I don't have a ton of experience with, but something like Counter-Strike, at least to my knowledge, has pretty much been the same game since it came out.
Yeah.
I know recently they had improved the resolution and graphic quality, everything like that. Because I thought the game looked like crap for a long time until they finally improved it. because like something like that, I don't think they're really adding they're not adding a new competitive map like every other month, or they're not. You can't. I don't think they add new guns
The map pool is like minuscule.
Yeah, because something like that, I think if you add new stuff, people aren't going to like it because people liked. I think in a game like that, people like getting better at what's already available.
Yeah, that's true.
So then so all these that we've talked about are multiplayer games. So I want to talk about like what the difference is in what you maybe look for, or what makes an enjoyable game in a multiplayer versus a single player game.
Yeah, I play multiplayer games more because I feel like when I play Xbox by myself, I'm wasting time.
Okay.
Like I like single player games. I just can't bring myself to play them as much. There's a couple that I'll play every once in a while, and there was a period of time earlier this year where like the Game Pass on Xbox was like $1.
It was like $1 for
so I
like
just
3
played all
months or
kinds of
something.
games
Oh, okay.
doing that, and it was fun. And I wish I could do that more often, play more games. But I mostly play multiplayer games because I like playing games with the group and other people.
Yeah, I don't really enjoy like single player games. Like I have single player games that I want to play, but I just can't bring myself to play them. And I think, which I think is interesting because I don't particularly dislike playing like video games by myself.
Yeah.
But it's like if I'm going to play by myself, I want to play multiplayer games. Like I want to hop on like Black Ops 4 or go play Rocket League, or even something like Minecraft where I have like a solo world now. But we do have the realm. But usually when like I'm playing on that, or if we're all in the party together, I don't think it's like a particularly like engaging conversation. It's kind of like we're all there. We just kind of exist with each other. We're not really like communicating a ton.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's because I like the freedom or the style of multiplayer games compared to single player games, because I think a lot of single player games are
story based.
They're story based, which I think is cool because I think story, like I like a good story, but I also would probably get bored if the gameplay isn't good.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of fluff.
And I think it's really hard to make a good game that has a good story and allows for like freedom of gameplay, and like to make it non-linear, I would say something like, or at least if you're going to arrive at the same conclusion, let me do it in a different way or style, like a completely different way than somebody else.
So that to me sounds like you would like playing MMOs, like World of Warcraft and Wizard 101, because that's exactly what it is.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't really play those games.
It's a story-based game, but there's like more side quests than story quests.
I think the problem
can
with
do whatever you want.
Well, there should always be more side quests than story quests.
Yeah.
But I just feel like that's just an endless time loop that I'd be indulging myself in.
Yeah.
If I started something like that, like back in the day when Wizard 101 was a thing, where I played I don't know how long. It probably wasn't a while, but the game was kind of interesting. I never really got too into it, but I just think I tried watching. I think his streamer name is like Asmongold or something like that.
Okay.
He's a World of Warcraft streamer, and I just have no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
Like even on the screen, there's like 50 billion like item icons. I have no clue how to understand any of it. I don't know. I just don't understand.
I've never played a game in my life that's lagged out my computer more than World of Warcraft.
I've never played.
It's insane. Before. I don't know why. I don't know why it's so like heavy on CPU usage.
All right, so next I wanted to talk about genres of games, which, like I talked about before, like I really enjoy like shooter games. I guess open world is Minecraft considered? No, is Minecraft sandbox?
Minecraft is sandbox. Okay. It's like a procedurally generated.
Okay. Oh, that's right. We talked about this. Where
open world is handmade.
Yes.
Like Skyrim.
So I would probably say sandbox is probably more enjoyable because something like Skyrim, there's just so much to the point where it's like I just got overwhelmed, I think.
Yeah.
Like with something like like most COD games, they just have like 3-lane maps. It's pretty basic, and I just know like I'm gonna go right, middle, or left, and I'm just gonna shoot people. And like I don't know, I guess the satisfaction of hearing hit markers and then like seeing the points pop up on my screen that I killed someone is like keeps me going.
Yeah. Yeah. What kind of games do I play? I mean, Sandbox as well. We all play Minecraft. We play it together. I play a lot of. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Sandbox is probably the biggest genre that I play. I don't know if you'd consider Don't Starve to be a sandbox. It is like procedurally generated a little bit. There's like
What's
rules.
handmade about it?
Well, it's not. It's just I don't think I'd call it a sand. It's like a survival game. More.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I guess Minecraft also is.
Well, does the map change every time?
Yeah, every map is slightly different, but there's like rules. Like certain areas will be in certain spots, and certain things only appear in certain biomes or whatever.
Well, it's not like entirely different from Minecraft.
Yeah. So I
Like,
guess
you can have like desert temples.
yeah, right. Like games like Don't Starve and Terraria and Minecraft.
So
Play those
you
a
like
lot.
games that can give you endless possibilities.
Yeah, I like games that can keep me occupied for a
Okay.
long amount of time.
All right.
Like if I've got motivation to do something, like I don't want it to just like run out.
So okay, but like occupied as in you're not constantly going back between a lobby and a game. Like you just like I'm just gonna load up
Yeah.
the game and I'm just gonna play.
Like
for
if I just
hours.
want to sit down and play for 4 hours, I can do that.
Okay. And okay, I've never played Terraria before, but does that have like a crafting system? Like
It does,
Minecraft?
yeah.
Okay. Because that's like a 2D game, right?
Yeah, it's not like where you put items in a crafting table. It's just like if you have the items in your inventory, it has like a big like list of all the things you can make with them,
Okay. Well, I mean,
and you just have to
Okay.
stand near a certain station to make it.
so there are like crafting benches.
Yep.
Things. Okay.
There's a bunch of them.
Oh, can you make them?
Yeah.
Or are they just there?
No, you have to make them.
Okay. I've wondered with that game, how does like the whole vertical movement thing work in that? Like,
It's
are
just
there, like
arrow
ladders?
keys. Yeah, there's ladders and ropes and stuff like that. Platforms that like a rope is basically like it's like you place it at the top, and then if you keep clicking on it, it'll continue like making the rope longer going down.
Okay. And
So
do
it's
you,
like a good way
mine-
to descend
Do
into
you like
caves
mine
and
for
stuff.
materials?
Yeah,
too?
yeah.
So is
So
it basically just 2D Minecraft?
It's 2D Minecraft, but Minecraft is much easier than Terraria.
Really?
Terraria it's got a lot more to it.
Are there like
than
different
Minecraft.
worlds, like the Nether and like the end? That you
No,
can
it's
go to?
it's all in like the same map.
Okay.
So there is like a hell in Terraria, but you have to dig like to the bottom of the world to get to it,
okay.
and that takes a long time. And there's like, in Minecraft there's wood, stone, iron, diamond, pretty much. In Terraria there's
gold.
probably like 5 times that many different like tiers of tools, and a lot of the tools have like special abilities too, and it's much more based on like PvE than Minecraft is. So there's like bosses, and if you
I remember you
defeat
guys
certain
saying stuff
bosses, you
about-
have to like that progresses you in the
So they're like normal, just like really easy mobs to kill.
yeah
Or,
yeah.
okay.
There's like zombies and slimes. And
Are there
stuff.
like NPCs at all?
Yeah, you there's NPCs that you like befriend, and you can like make houses for them to live in, and they'll like trade stuff with you. And there's certain ways to unlock each one, get them to appear in the world.
All right.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Next, I wanted to move into the whole like the difference between games that release or franchises that release games like every year or every other year compared to ones that like release one game and like
continue updating
like that's their game that they want to like
Yeah.
because like I think I said this yesterday, like COD is on its like 15th iteration.
Yeah.
And I think Halo and Battlefield release a game like every other year. But then there's games like Fortnite, Overwatch, League, Dota, Counter-Strike. Like they all have like a one game that they release, and like they keep updating over the years. And I was wondering, like, is there like a certain style that you prefer to those? Like, would you rather play a game that keeps updating itself, or would you rather play something that is just kind of like or at least they release a new one every year, not necessarily a new game?
Yeah, here's my take on it that I didn't say yesterday because I just thought of it. But I think in general I like games that just keep updating themselves, because then you get games like I mean, can't think of a specific example, but games that just release over and over, oftentimes they're kind of neglected with like balance changes and stuff. That people don't really pay attention to what's completely broken and what's not working at all, and they don't really update it. Games like League and Overwatch, you have to, because otherwise the game just will never work. And if you're gonna keep that as the base game, you have to like keep it polished. Also, those games are like, I don't know why, but for some reason they're usually free to play. And they have like microtransactions.
Yeah, and something I think I just thought about, at least with something like Call of Duty and Halo, I think their most popular fan base is on console gaming.
Yeah.
Whereas something like Overwatch,
League, Dota,
League, like all of those ones are available on PC.
And mostly
or it's like they're, at least at the like, I would say it's most popular.
Yeah.
If it's available on PC, to play it on PC. Like Fortnite and Overwatch.
Yeah, well, I think all like shooter games or skill-based games would be like that. But
because
PC is just like,
well, okay, but the thing is, like something like Halo is only available on Xbox. Call of Duty.
But if they offered it on PC,
well, okay, you see, but I don't know if it would shift, because I think, if I'm thinking about the highest level of like competition in Halo and COD, it's both on console.
Oh, really?
Like Call of Duty, they're professionally plays on PlayStation 4. Halo, I'm pretty sure, is on Xbox One.
Okay.
I would assume they're on Xbox One. I don't really follow it.
Yeah.
But like something like Overwatch is played on PC. Counter-Strike's obviously PC. League, Dota, Fortnite. You know, you have the option to play on console. Most people, it's like, why would you want to do that if you could just use a mouse and keyboard? And I wonder if there's like a certain business model geared towards console gaming where it's like I guess if because I'm not like a PC elitist, because I really just play Xbox because that's what we all have, and it's easy for me to I don't have to worry about like updating or maintaining a computer. I wonder if there's a certain style of, like with consoles, where I don't know if a younger audience is the right word, but it's like, it seems like their more popular games are like mindless things that you don't really think about, like as something like COD and Halo, where I don't know if that's like a console type of model that companies follow.
I think also consoles are probably more heavily focused on multiplayer games too, just because they're more accessible. Like I think they're more user friendly. Yeah, there's a lot of things you have to do on PC to make certain things work that aren't obvious and built into the system.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. I think, I can't think of where I was going with this.
Okay, but what I was gonna say, is I think a better business, idea than like one game that gets released or just the same game released over and over. I think Supercell is a good example, because they have Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, now Brawl Stars. They're all 3 different games with completely different concepts that are continuing to get updated.
And pretty much different audiences too.
Yeah. I think that's really good. I mean, they're a really successful company. They're probably the biggest mobile gaming company there is.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and so if you've got like the money to support extra people on the team, or to continue updating,
does a game
games,
or a game like Clash of Clans or Clash Royale, does that require? I don't know if that requires a large team.
No, not I wouldn't expect it would require a large team, but if you're gonna add on more games, you're gonna need at least a couple more people.
Yeah. But what I think was interesting with Clash Royale, is the whole live action like competition, where it was something completely new, because everyone's used to like, well, you have your base and you have your army and you go attack someone else's base.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not a live interaction. Like their base is set up to and it's controlled by like AI or whatever. Like they know that it's like they're pre-programmed to do certain things. And same with like the troops that you place down. Which, yes, in Clash Royale, your troops are pre-programmed to place things, but you can place them in certain spots
in real time.
That can completely change the interactions.
Yeah,
which is something that's like not really a thing in Clash of Clans.
It's also much easier to play too. Like it doesn't have quite It's not quite as time consuming.
Yeah, so I was going to say Clash of Clans is a grind.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what it is. Because I think, unless if you're at like the highest level, you can pretty much just spam troops and just do fine. But in like Clash Royale, if your cards may be very underleveled, or not very, but if they're underleveled, if you're just smarter than the other person, you can completely outplay them.
Exactly.
And I think it was interesting that a lot of the people that came to Clash Royale were most likely Clash of Clans players, because that was really popular when we were like freshman, sophomore in high school. And I thought it was a very good idea of them to implement many cards that were characters or troops from the other game.
The consistency of the games.
It made it feel like you're kind of like just playing with your Clash of Clans troops.
I think that's what Brawl Stars is missing.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing it, but I had to stop because finals.
Yeah.
And then I just really haven't picked it back up.
You should. It's a good game. I do agree though. Like if they had some characters from the universe,
I just think it's kind of hard with the whole different route that they took. I think they took a completely different route, and they can't turn back from it.
I mean, I don't think so. It's
how are you gonna put
still a fighting game.
Yeah, but how are you gonna put a prince in there, or like a witch or a giant?
Having like lashes.
I think the problem is that it's a completely different art style.
Yeah,
and in the Clash universe, everything's like got its own size. Mm-hmm. In that game, everyone's like the same size.
That's true.
And everyone's the same size, pretty much the same speed, as far as I'm aware. It's pretty much just your abilities that are different.
Yeah, but so going back to the whole one game versus a lot of games, the issue with releasing one game and continuing to update it is that if you're losing a player base or if something isn't working, you can't really make like a drastic change. It's not easy to do that without upsetting a lot of people.
With what type of game?
Like League of Legends or Dota.
Okay.
You can't just say, oh well, I think we're just gonna make it so everyone does triple damage now and items are free and you can have any items you want at the beginning of the game. You can't do that. But like games like Call of Duty, you can go from Ghosts, which is just a reskinned Black Ops or whatever.
Well, pretty much, I think every COD game is essentially a reskin.
Yeah, you can go from Ghosts to Advanced Warfare, where you're just flying around the map and shooting people like all over the place.
Pretty much the same guns.
Yeah, but like the movement was a completely different thing. And I mean, granted, a lot of people didn't like that, but that would have never been possible if they just updated Ghosts.
AW. Well, true. Yes, very good point. You can't just be like, well, we're just going to implement jetpacks.
Yeah.
And I think AW was a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the idea of implementing new types of movement because I thought it added a new element instead of pretty much having to look like just around you. Now you have to start worrying about up and down. And I thought they added something new and cool. And it added for new map designs where you could have like a window that was just a hole in the building on like the second or third floor, but you didn't need to have a ladder or staircase that led up to it. So
you could fly in.
Yeah. But I think my problem with AW in the few hours that I bothered to actually play the game was the movement was really fast.
Yeah, it's too much.
You could jump up, shoot across, and like slam down on the ground. And I think that was just not a good idea to have people be able to move that quickly. And I think pretty much every time someone spawned, it's like I forgot what they were called, but it was like some sort of like battery symbol that like when it would give you certain like abilities or like certain stat boosts or something. And it's like every time you spawned in, and it would only go for a little bit, but you only had it like once a life. But it's like every time someone spawned in, you had to activate those in order to get like a decent advantage. And I don't know much about it because, like I said, I didn't really bother to play the game that much. But I thought in Black Ops 3 and IW that the movement was much more balanced. Yeah. Where like Black Ops 3, it's like you could jump and then you can kind of lift in the air a little bit, or if you were sliding, that would use some boost. But it's like outside of that, you're not shooting across the sky like you were in AW.
Yeah.
And I think that was a much more balanced idea. But then they just ended up going back to boots on the ground anyway. So.
Well, I mean, you can't have jetpacks in World War II. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is Black Ops 4 boots on the ground too?
Yes. It's
interesting.
Yeah, no, I don't understand how you go from like Black Ops
3.
No, it was like Black Ops 1 and 2 were like the same storyline, and then Black Ops 3 I think tried to tie that storyline in somehow, even though it was like went from like World War or like
a completely different. period.
Like some sort of jungle warfare period. I don't remember what it was.
I don't know.
To like 2050 with the same characters. I'm like, I just...
Yeah. And is Black Ops 4 before Black Ops 3?
I don't know. There's no campaign. There's no campaign anymore.
Oh, that's right.
They're like, yeah, let's just put more money. I guess, but I think in a sense, Blackout is a fun idea.
It is, yeah.
And I wonder if other COD games are now going to implement their own battle royale, or if instead this game will be the one that people come back to if they want to play.
I'd love to see them try. I think they.
I would not. I would not want to see more battle royales.
I think Black Ops 4 did it well though, because they didn't just release Black Ops Blackout. They released Black Ops 4 with Blackout as a game mode.
Mm-hmm. And I think
an option.
Yeah, and I like playing Blackout. I suck at it, but it's fun. But one thing I noticed is that, like, I've never played PUBG, but I've seen it played before, and I feel confident in saying it's much more like PUBG than a game like Fortnite, because in Fortnite, pretty much every wall, floor, anything is destructible, and you can get materials, you can build yourself. But like PUBG, Blackout, stuff like that, you can't do that. And what I realized as to why I started sucking is because building became such a crutch for me in Fortnite. Like, I could run out in the open, and if someone shot at me, I just build, and then I can hide, or I can run and I can keep building to make cover. I can't do that in Blackout. Yeah. I either have to hide or I have to shoot, and usually most of the time I'm just not going to hit the guy and I'm going to die. So that's my. I just think that I don't think all battle royale skills are transferable.
Yeah, I agree.
So I wanted to talk about now free-to-play games versus paid games.
Yeah.
Like something like League is free-to-play, and now something like CS is free-to-play. Even like all of Supercell's games, as far as I'm aware, are free-to-play.
Yep.
But games that aren't free-to-play, like something like Siege or Battlefield, that try to implement... Or not those games. That's a bad example. Something I would say Black Ops 4, where they tried to implement the type of like battle pass system that something like Fortnite has, where they try to implement a free to play microtransaction system in a game that's like $60, and I just felt like it's a terrible idea to try and you're already paying $60. Right, why do I have to work and pay like more? To
because they know people will pay for it. That's why.
I also saw something on I think it was the Call of Duty or Black Ops 4 subreddit. I don't remember which one it was, and I couldn't find the tweet earlier, so I guess I don't know if they deleted it, but they tweeted out Treyarch tweeted out something about how they dropped a new DLC, and it's like it said something along the lines of like, come and unlock this new character or whatever, whatever it was. And someone, like, if you see that, you'd think like, I can work to unlock it, but it's only unlockable through a paywall, which was kind of like a screwy thing to like say. Because you got to be careful with how you word things, but it's like, that was just kind of like an asshole thing to do, I think. Yeah. To give people the false impression that you can unlock things by playing through the game. And that's something I think is unique about a game like Siege, as far as I've seen, where they have in-game currency that you can earn, and they have in-game currency that you can buy.
And they're separate.
They're completely separate, which, good or bad, however you want to look at it, there are certain things that are only available to pay with each type, but for the most part, from what I remember, most things in the game you can buy with either one. So if you want to be completely free to play and you want to grind out the game, like, go for it. If you're lazy and you just want to give them more money, that's fine.
And I just want to point out the difference, because there are free to play games and games that cost money, but there's also free to play games that are free to play, and there's free to play games that are pay to win. Okay?
Yes.
Games like Supercell, all the Supercell games, if you pay money, you will have all the better stuff. You'll have a better chance of winning.
So
that's just it.
Like something we were talking about with like Clash of Clans.
Yeah.
So I understand. I would say it's paid. I don't. It's you can grind, or you can pay,
or you can speed it up.
Yes, but the I think the thing about that game that makes it different from something like Clash Royale is that you can have, because I think your King Tower level in Clash Royale is entirely based off of experience.
Yeah.
So you can't pay to increase that, but somebody can pay to increase their card levels, essentially.
Yeah.
Which means, and this is part of the reason why I got just
frustrated with Clash Royale.
Because once I got to about 4,000 trophies, I think it is, like when I got like right into like the challenger ranks or whatever, everybody I was playing was like their cards were like 2 levels higher than mine.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't really compete with this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. In Clash of Clans, when you level up your town hall and you pay money to do that, you face people who also have that same town hall.
Yeah, and once you get there, and but you can, the thing is that you can only, your buildings can only go so high.
Yeah,
there's your town hall level. I don't think that's a thing in Clash.
No, it's not.
Royale.
So you can have max level cards and be in arena two. You can have I mean it's based on trophies, even not even like it's King Tower. So
which some people will purposely drop trophies.
I have done that. I have done that before, and it is
with
fun.
your spamming skeletons thing.
Yeah, but you gotta also understand that people who drop trophies, they're dropping trophies. They're trying to lose.
Well, they're trying to lose so that they can go to the very bottom and then troll people.
Yeah, but yeah, it's much easier to kind of ruin the experience for others if you're paying to win in a game like Clash Royale. But then there's games like League of Legends where the only things you can purchase beyond like runes, which do almost nothing to the game, you can buy skins, which actually do nothing. They just make you look cooler. And,
well, I mean, you could intimidate your opponent.
And I'd say I've spent more than $60 on League of Legends, easily.
I would probably say I probably spent $20 or $30.
Yeah, and like I mean, that's a good business model.
And if I remember correctly, you unlock characters with that also has in-game and like monetary currency.
It has 2 currencies.
Yeah, okay. So I think that's like Siege too.
But none of the characters, like the newer characters, cost more money just because they're new, right? So their goal is
they originally cost more.
Yeah.
Until like a new character comes out, then they go back to being like the same as everyone else, right?
There's like different levels. So there's like one that costs like 800, then there's one that costs like 1,300, and then there's one that costs like 2,100.
Okay.
You know, it goes up. Like I don't know why, like because all the characters are pretty much the same. There's some S tier characters that cost 800, and then there's some awful characters that cost 7,000.
So, and I think it's an interesting business model about things that like an in-game currency. Because I've said this before, I hate the way Steam does things.
Yep. And
where it's like if I want to buy something that's 30 cents, but I have like nothing in my Steam wallet, I have to put $5 in. And then I'm like, well, I have like $4, like $4 like 70 cents left over or whatever. Like, well, I might as well spend it now that it's there.
Can't you just buy stuff with your card?
Not. I don't think so.
I think you can.
Is that a thing?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, maybe they changed that. I don't think I've bought something in a while on Steam.
Oh, okay.
But even games where like in Siege or League where you can buy an in-game currency, or Fortnite with the whole V-Bucks thing.
Yeah.
Like usually the amounts that you can buy them in are not going to line up with the amounts that things cost.
Right.
Like you could buy like something like for
true.
like 1,000. Or like you can put like 1,000 like of the currency in, but something will cost 950.
Yeah.
So it's like you have 50 left over, and you're like, well, I could get this cheap thing for 100, but I have to buy 100 of the currency, and then I've got like 50 left over, and then it's just an endless cycle of encouraging you to keep putting more in because you're like, well, if I just get a little bit more, I mean, I already have some.
Yeah. And it's always kind of a battle because there's like you can spend $5 and get 100 currency, or you can spend $10 and get 250 currency. And you're like, am I going to spend 250 currency? Is it worth getting that extra 50 currency from spending
where it's
more
like
money?
we'll give you a bonus if you spend even more.
Right, and then maybe you'll never play the game again and you'll have wasted money. Turns out, it's impossible to know really.
And I find it interesting that someone like Xbox, Microsoft, I don't know about PlayStation because I've never played it, but they used to have their Microsoft points.
Mm-hmm.
But then they shied away from that. Now everything just has monetary value on it.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to shift gears now from just gaming to the competitive side of esports. And I really enjoy watching them. I really can't explain how I have, because I think the interest in like athletic sports and esports is I feel like it's conflicting, but I thoroughly enjoy both of them. And I would say the ones that I watch the most, like I've said, I play shooter games the most, and those are the ones I watch the most. I'm sure there are other ones. Like I know I like to watch Rocket League. I'm sure that I think the Smash scene is pretty big. If I'm not entirely sure.
I've never watched it, but yeah, it is.
I know. I don't know if it's big, but I know it's very competitive, and they still play on like the old.
They use the GameCube controllers.
Yeah, the old. Well, no, because I think they play on the GameCube one. Like,
yeah,
right.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know what the game is.
They
called.
play on all the different ones. There's
well,
like Ultimate
my
one right now.
roommate was telling me that the one. I'm pretty sure he said the one on the GameCube was like still the most competitive.
Melee.
Sure. I really don't know the name of any of them. I know the one on the Wii was like the only one I really played. And apparently
Brawl or the Wii U one.
The Wii, and that was regarded as like the worst one that was made.
Yeah. The one with Wii Fit Trainer in it.
I don't remember. It's the one we always play at Tom's.
No, you're thinking of Brawl. That's not the worst one. The worst one is the one they put out for the Wii U.
Okay, well the Wii U in itself was just a flop.
Yep.
I
agree.
But anyways, so something I wanted to talk about is what makes a game competitive, or what allows for a game to have a competitive scene.
Yeah.
Because something like Overwatch has a huge competitive scene with the Overwatch League, but their goal was never to make a competitive game. Like Jeff Kaplan, I think that's Jeff Kaplan said multiple times, like, our goal is to make a good game. And if it has a competitive scene, then great, we'll support it.
That's surprising me. It feels like it's meant to be a competitive game.
Well, I think at its core, having heroes that have abilities is going to make it competitive.
Yeah.
But they never try to make it a competitive game, which I think is kind of like ironic, because once the game becomes competitive, then you usually start listening to professionals on what they think would make the game better, or how to balance certain types of heroes. Because in some games, some heroes are completely broken. Like in Siege, they had one called Lion, where he could activate this drone like above that. I don't know how long it lasted, but it pretty much the enemy team couldn't move. Otherwise, they would be spotted, and you could see them like through walls. Like you'd get an outline of them,
like through multiple walls.
But like wherever they were on the map at all, you could see them.
Stupid.
But the problem with it wasn't that you could see them. It was that for the most part, teams knew where other players were. It's just now that we activate this thing, now you can't move. So we already know where you are. You can either move and then we'll still know where you are, or you could sit there and we know where you are. So I think they're like the Rainbow Six Pro League tweeted out recently that they're just completely banning that character. Like they're not even going to worry, but because there were picks and bans like they have with that game, like they do in League, where each team, or it was just like a ban phase or whatever, where each team ban an attacker and a defender. And I'm pretty sure that I don't know if that character was banned a lot, or if
probably. But
it was either, I think, like whoever went first had the advantage, because they could ban an attacker, specifically banning against their opponent, and the other team could either ban against their opponent or ban the overpowered character.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because I think with games where you have multiple characters that have abilities, it's really hard to keep introducing characters and keep them all balanced. Like Siege, I feel like has gotten to the point where they need to worry about balancing the current characters that they have, instead of just keeping releasing more.
I think League of Legends has an easier time with that because there's so many characters, but games like Siege and Overwatch, where there's really not that big of a pool. Like if there's teams of 6 on Overwatch,
6 in Overwatch, 5 in Siege.
And I mean that's 12 potential characters in one game, and there's only like 26 or something like that. And
the problem with something, if you think of something like Overwatch, like you need like a tank and a support, and you need like or like usually you're probably gonna need DPS. Or in Siege, if you're attacking, you pretty much need what they call hard breachers that can break through reinforcements, and then you probably want some soft breachers that they can destroy normal walls, but they can't destroy reinforced walls. Yeah. I mean, like think about when they released Brigitte for Overwatch. That just ruined it. Everything changed. There was a video they had about how that one character, someone playing her, like completely shifted a game. Where
Yeah.
because and I think it's because of the fact that she has a shield.
And
she
can
has a
stun
ranged weapon
through shields.
Well, not anymore. They changed
Okay,
that.
yeah.
And the whole bash stun, and the fact that all she had to do was swing her hammer, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And it would heal people.
Basically, well, you had to hit people.
I know. I'm saying
like a
you would
healing
swing
aura.
it. So basically, you could just run like a death ball style, where everyone's
Right.
just going to jump on together, and as long as Brigitte just keeps swinging that hammer and hitting enemies, her
You're
team's
not
going to
gonna
get
die.
healed.
Yeah,
Like it's
it was problematic.
yeah, and like something with like League, where there are a ton of characters, which you would think might be really hard to balance, but I think there's something in League where so many things that when they're balancing are like minuscule changes, like very small.
Yeah,
like
they change like someone's damage by like 6%.
Like fractions of a percent.
Yeah,
but it's like that's not usually a thing. I think that happens in other games.
Yeah.
With something like League, I think most characters you could, if you're good enough with any character, you could probably take it and run it in any lane if you're good enough with it. But like, for the most part, no Mercy should be able to like outduel a soldier. Yeah. Like, I just think that like with a game like League, where everyone there aren't a ton, there's no verticality to the game, so you don't have to worry about that. It's all ability based.
Yeah.
So now I want to talk about games that don't have characters in them, particularly. Okay, I'll say Fortnite for later because I can go on rants about that.
Okay.
Something like what is it, like Call of Duty or Counter-Strike. Like, they don't have characters, but it's all based around the weapons that you use. Where I guess like Overwatch and like Siege, like different characters with different weapons, but in Counter-Strike and COD, like that, it's everything. That's the customization of the game. Oh, okay.
There are
because COD now is specialist, but I have my own thoughts about those. Okay, so like in Counter-Strike, it's I think the whole economy thing is unique, where it's like if you lose, you get like an income for losing, but you might want to save it because you want to save up to like, so you can do like a full buy in like the next round or 2 rounds from now or something. And I think there's a lot of strategy because your economy is changing every round, your utility changes every round, but there's like preset strategies that I think teams have on when they're on certain types of when their utility changes and everything, and I think that's unique.
Yeah. So I think COD is I think when they like implemented the point system, like back in MW2 and MW3, you had like 2 attachments on a gun, right? And then you could have like a perk or whatever. Like there was set things that you could have. Mm-hmm. Now they've got the system where you have like 12 points or 10 points. Yeah. And I think that makes it way more unique. Like there's way more possibilities with it. Like you can have a gun that has 5 attachments, or you can have 3 perks, or you can have just only grenades.
Well, I mean, I don't think you can have 10 slots of grenades, but
I wish.
But what I think is different about something like COD than if you want to compare to like Counter-Strike is that COD, pretty much for the most part, is your guns never change. Like you're never worrying about like, I need to buy like an assault rifle, or let's save and just buy like SMGs this round. Like you're pretty much, and COD is also one of those like different types of shooter competitive games where you respawn. Like something like Overwatch, like that. And I think it's really hard to balance a game like that because respawns could like change the entire game, like towards the end of it. If it's like a close game and one team is spawning way out, like there's really nothing they can do at that point.
Do people in competitive COD like abuse that? Like, do they kind of split up their teams so they're kind of like on both sides of the map? So like they don't, the other team doesn't know where to respawn.
So the game's hard. Okay, do you know what Hardpoint is?
Yeah.
So that's one of the competitive ones. Search and Destroy is the other one, and there's always a third one, and I swear it changes every year. It used to be Domination.
Yeah.
Then it was Capture the Flag. Then it was like Blitz. Do you remember that from Ghost?
No.
That was
I don't think I ever played.
so that was like where each team had like a circle on their base, and you basically ran into the circle, and you would get a point, and you would teleport back to your own side of the base.
Oh God!
And it was really unique. The third game mode's always unique. Like they had, I think in Black Ops 4 they've now introduced control, which is where teams have a limited number of lives, and there's like 2 capture points, and one team's attacking, one team is defending. And I think each team has like 30 lives, so you can either capture both points if you're attacking, or you can kill the defenders enough to take all their lives.
So it's like search and destroy, but longer.
Yes, kind of. And there's no bomb.
Okay.
But the lives are a factor. Like you can get to the point where the other team may have like 17 lives, and your team only has like 6.
Yeah, and you'll just have to like camp out.
And it's like it's like
that sounds more interesting to me.
I just don't like the whole idea of just having it's like either give them 1 life or just let them respawn.
Yeah.
So that's that kind of game mode. That's always interesting. The third one, and I think what makes COD kind of interesting is that because they have different game modes, which I don't think that's something that most competitive games have, is that teams can be really good on certain game modes. Like if you're really good in respawn game modes, like you can take. Because the way it normally works is it's like hardpoint search, third game or the third game mode, hardpoint search.
Oh, they play all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like it's usually a best of 5 series.
Cool.
So like teams that are really good at respawns, it's like they won the first map, and they can probably win the 4th map, but they really need to win the 3rd. But teams that are good at S&D can win the 2nd map and the 5th map, but they need the 3rd. And the 3rd's usually what I think is the swing map.
Okay.
So, like, if you have a team that's really good at search and a team that's really good at hardpoint, it's usually going to come down to whoever wins that 3rd one.
That's interesting.
Which is unique because I don't think most games
have multiple game modes.
And the only time I think they do is if you're allowed to respawn, like something like Overwatch.
Right.
And I have my issues with Overwatch because I think King of the Hill, I don't think that should be in the game.
I agree.
Because every other aspect of the game is around attack defense.
Yep.
And that game mode is just okay. Both of you vie for this point, which I get. It's like I know it's like usually uses like the decider, but I don't like that the entire game is around attack defense except for this one game mode.
It's honestly probably the most balanced game mode, like the King of the Hill one, but it's just
but if you want to make your game around attacking and defending, then you shouldn't have a King of the Hill thing,
right?
And and my biggest problem with Overwatch League is that they don't do a best of 5 series. They play 4 maps. They play 1 on each game mode. They have hybrid, control, King of the Hill, and payload. So they play 1 of each because I guess
what is hybrid?
That's where the first point is a control point, and then it's a payload the rest of the way.
Okay.
So they want to do that because I guess they want to showcase all their games. But the problem is that if the team wins the first 3 games, the 4th game is like essentially pointless.
Yeah.
And then even then, if they could win all 4.
So what happens if it's 2-2?
Then they play like a 5th King of the Hill map.
So
like
I don't
tiebreaker.
What? Okay.
I just think it should you should just have like a best of 5 series where let's say you have like payload and control, and you play like payload control, hybrid, payload control, kind of like what COD does.
That seems like
and
way
just
more
play
complicated. Why wouldn't you just say it's a best of 5, and if the first
because
team wins the first 3, then it's just
because it's not a best of 5. Because my problem is that once you because there's so many sweeps that happen where the team wins 4-0, or even if they win 3-1, if they win the first 3, the 4th map really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
and it's like you're basically just playing to not say you didn't get swept, and I just don't like that.
Does it have any impact like on how many games you win where your like standing?
I don't think so because I don't think they go to map count unless if there's like maybe that's a tiebreaker thing.
Maybe,
but I'm pretty sure tiebreakers usually have a long list, and normally the first thing is like head-to-head win percentage.
Yeah,
and I just think that I just don't like that much.
There's got to be a reason. I don't know what it is.
I think it's because they want to show off all their games.
Oh.
I think I don't know what other reason you would have to include all 4 game modes when you don't need to.
They should just shuffle it.
Have a
different
well,
order
then
each time.
that has the problem of inconsistency. Where teams are playing different maps, different game modes. Because remember, Overwatch is I think is unique in the sense that no map is used on another game mode. competitively.
Oh, right.
Like it's like if you're
A map
playing
is made for
playing
a game
Watchpoint Gibraltar, you are never going to play Payload
Right.
on that map. Or not.
You're only
You're only going to play Payload on that map.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Right.
Yeah, and so it's unique in the fact that they have maps that are specifically designed for that, and I think what they're trying to show everything off. I think that's the main reason why they do that. I just think it's pointless.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit weird. I mean, I don't think the Overwatch League has ever been the most organized esport.
No, I don't. And I didn't really watch their playoff selection show, but it was like the top seed got to pick their opponent that they played, and then the second seed played the remaining team that wasn't picked. I was like, this, why? I like when there's a set format. You have, whether you want to have divisions, multiple divisions in a conference, or have multiple conferences or whatever. It's you win this, you have a system, so there is no controversy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because there are some systems out there, not necessarily esports, but
I wonder if it's because esports are such a new growing thing that people are trying to make it different.
I just don't think you need to make it different. I don't think Overwatch League needs to play all four maps here. I didn't really watch the finals, but what happens if you I don't know if the finals format changes. What happens if you get into a situation where a team wins the first 3 maps? Are you going to be well, they already won the championship, or we're just going to play this 4th map because?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it also has something to do with the whole comparison between esports and actual sports, because people are oh, esports aren't sports. You don't have to be physically active.
It's not sports, but there is so much mind. It's so mental.
It's the same in the way that if you practice a lot, you'll get good at it. A football player, they're not just naturally good at football. They practice.
Yeah, most
and they work
people
out
aren't just naturally good.
I mean, some people, granted, are better than other people naturally, but no one is going to be at a pro level just pop right out the womb.
Yeah, and I think that's because my problem is that people think that just because it's video games that it's meant to be entertainment.
Right.
But that's what sports are.
Yeah,
sports are entertainment.
If football wasn't broadcast on TV, people would say, "Stop playing football. Study for your test or whatever."
Yeah. And I think even rules change now in I know the NFL and the NBA. I don't know about MLB or NHL, but they change the rules to be more offensive favored because fans and people like scoring. They like watching points because it's entertainment. They want people to be entertained more. Yes, you're an athlete, but at the core, you are an entertainer for everyone that's paying to go and watch you. Which that's and the whole thing about esports and actual sports is you trying to make a consistent competitive environment and something that people enjoy. I would say casually doing, and something that people enjoy competitively doing. Mm-hmm. But I think esports or video games are easier to get into in a competitive point of view, in the sense that you can hop on Overwatch and play ranked if at literally any point if you have a game. You can't just be well, I just want to go play for this college team right now. You can't just you can't just go do that.
Yeah,
I think it's more. I would say in the outside world, athletic sports are more difficult to get into.
Yeah.
But I don't think that makes esports any less competitive. If anything, it makes it more competitive. You have a bigger pool of people to choose from.
And I want to go back to that entertainment point you made, because I want to segue into your Fortnite rant that you want to get to.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's what makes Fortnite a good competitive esport, is because, well, I mean, it's what makes it good and bad at the same time, because it's so focused on personalities right now. And if you're big on Twitch and if you have a following,
Twitch can make or break.
You can be a competitive Fortnite player.
Yeah, I like Courage used to play COD and cast it, but why do that if you're gonna be a solo streamer when you can play you can stream Fortnite and easily get if with someone who has a following of his size, easily get 10,000 viewers just because it's Fortnite. You ever see I remember Ninja was playing a game that wasn't Fortnite and he had 9,000 viewers.
Yeah.
Or Shroud, when he plays Fortnite, his jumps he gets 10,000 more viewers things. Like it's just you play for that game and people will watch it right now. It's insane. My problem why I don't think it should be a competitive game is because it caters towards the casual gamer way too much. I think because I think Bloom is the worst mechanic to exist ever in the history of shooter games. I don't know why you would leave something up to RNG.
Yeah. And there's a level where it's okay. Like we talked about this before. Like in Overwatch, Soldier 76, you start shooting and you have a focused area of fire, and then it gets bigger.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
But when the game first came out, there was no first shot accuracy.
I know.
You could, and like I said, you could if you want to slowly pull the trigger like once every 3 seconds, or if you want to spam it as fast as you could. When the game first came out, you had the same chance of your bullets landing in the same spot. There was no accuracy at all. And I don't even think there's a moving penalty in that game.
Yeah, and the issue with first shot accuracy versus like something where if you just first shoot, you'll be more accurate and then less accurate as you're holding down the trigger is first shot accurate only works if you're not moving. If you've ever watched competitive Fortnite, you know,
sometimes.
You're never not moving. Pretty much. You're always like if you're fighting someone, you're not just standing there and shooting them from behind a wall. You're unless you're like sniping or something.
Yeah.
You're jumping over walls and you're building and jumping behind them and editing through stuff. Your first shot accuracy is never going to be used.
Well, because I think it can be abused in like crouch peeking. Like I don't think competitively, but like when you see like pros playing like pub games.
Yeah.
Like when you can just peek up really fast, shoot, and then crouch, and you do that very quickly. It's like the other person has pretty much no chance unless they predict like a sniper shot to hit you.
Right.
And I think that was, I don't know if they ever fixed that, but that seemed like a broken mechanic. And I've tried watching professional Fortnite.
They did actually.
But when it gets towards the end, when the circle is small, it's like it's just a clusterfuck of people and building, and it's like, how do you follow that?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's impressive, but it's hard to keep track of. I think they do a really good job of like kind of showing multiple perspectives, but I don't know. I also watch streamer highlights on YouTube. He does some great. I don't know if it's a he or a she. I assume it's a he.
And I was talking about earlier how I think like building became a crutch in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like imagine if that was PUBG. If you got that many people that close, like that's never gonna happen.
That's probably the biggest difference between PUBG and Fortnite is the end of the game.
The building allows for you to basically be a wimp.
Yeah.
You don't why go after someone when you can isolate yourself and hope other people just fight each other? Because my biggest problem that they have
because they reward kills.
Now they do. There was I don't remember what it was, but there was I'm pretty sure there was a tournament where it's like you got rewarded for your placement. Well. Yeah. I think that is an awful thing to do.
Yeah, they toned that back.
Because
but I agree.
And I remember I was telling Tom that placements are stupid because you can just hide in a tree the whole game and kill the last guy.
And Tom did that on his PC from the 1990s. He got second place with 0 kills.
It's just so simple to do, and I don't think placements mean anything in a battle royale game. Your kills say more about what you can do than your placements.
Yeah.
Ultimately, everyone's like, "Oh, I want the placement because it means I won." But like I said, because and what happened when Tom was like watching me is I said like, this is stupid because you can just hide, and I hid the whole game and then I won. I think I killed 2 people, and it was just like it. I don't think placements should count much at all because kills are what really shows what kind of a player you are.
Like at least I get like getting the victory should count for something, but that also comes down to, if you're playing aggressive, you're getting more loot, you're getting more healing, you're getting better weapons from other people. You're gonna have a slightly
you're
better
hoping
chance.
The other people have that stuff.
I mean, you're gonna get a slightly better chance of winning. At the very least, you're getting ammo.
The whole thing about Fortnite is it's all RNG based.
Yeah.
Is like you could land in the same spot 1,000 times and you could get something different like almost every single time you go there. It's not consistent. And I think that's what draws people in because it's it's the chance. I have a chance to get something really good. I have a chance to get like a really good weapon and like healing and like nades utility whatever out of this. But I also have the chance to get like a common burst. Yeah. But no one thinks about that. They just think, okay, give me something good. And then if they do bad, and then they're like, oh, whatever, I'll just go back in the next time. Because the only thing they're thinking about is, oh, the last time I went here, I got a really good gun and I killed everybody. And I think that's just not competitive.
Yeah.
Just randomness is not
Yeah.
competitive.
It would be even worse if the guns weren't so similar in damage, but like I think that's what makes it not the end of the world. Like a golden AR does what, like 33 body, and a common AR does like 28,
It's
maybe
not 28, but it's probably like
25.
There's a difference, but I don't think it's a big
Yeah,
difference.
it doesn't make a huge difference. The biggest difference that makes is if you're hitting people.
Yeah, if you can't hit your shots with bloom, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's why it somewhat works. It's just the main issue is bloom. Bloom is what makes Fortnite not work
Suck
as a competitive game.
I also think planes were an awful thing to add.
I think PUBG is comparatively boring compared to Fortnite. I would never watch PUBG professionally.
I've never really played it. I've seen it a little bit, but I think also with a game like that,
yeah,
it reminds me of like older Call of Duties or older. Yeah, I think even just probably still current Battlefields, where it's just a mix of like dark gray and dark green and dark brown, and it's kind of like hard to see things. So you have to have really good eyesight,
right,
to see pretty much anything. And I think I know they've released PUBG on the Xbox One. I never played it. I know Nate does and he likes it. I never bothered to play it, but I just thought Fortnite 1 is free to play, so of course more people are going to play it. And you don't need a monster PC to run it. Yep. Like that was my impression of PUBG at first. I'm sure the Xbox version is nothing close to what the PC version is like in quality and quantity.
Right. So let's close this out by saying kind of a refresher. A prayer. No, let's just kind of like refresh everything that we just talked about in Fortnite and give our suggestions to no one that's listening of what we think Fortnite could do to make their game better competitively. Please. Get rid of bloom.
Bloom's awful.
Don't make it that every bullet goes exactly where you're pointing though. Make it like where the earlier on you're shooting, the more accurate it is.
Yeah.
So you can't just have like an AR.
You know, I would be fine with bloom if, like you said, like let's say you're if you're holding down the trigger, even spamming it. Yeah. Is that let's say there's like a little circle, and that's where your bullets can go, and it slowly starts to spread.
Exactly.
I would be much more fine with that than just outside of first shot accuracy.
If you're moving, your bullets
have the same chance to go in anywhere in this giant circle,
massive circle.
I think that's an awful idea.
Get rid of bloom. Just get some kind of system that rewards accuracy. I think another thing they could do is continue to not reward placement beyond victory royales, because I don't want any defensive building. I don't want people hiding.
Well, because the issue is that they reward they only reward placings for the top 10.
Yeah.
So once you get to 30 people left, everyone's just building.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to not die.
I'm saying it should be you get a point for killing someone, and then if you get a victory royale,
I think victory
you get it's like a tiebreaker.
At most is at most it's maybe 1 point.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think the placement should mean much.
Because I think the best part about Fortnite is the building. It's when you get two people coming at each other and they're building offensively.
I think it's interesting.
It's amazing.
It's really not fun to watch two people just build one guy build a floor above him, or a ceiling above him, and the other guy build a floor, and they're just not fighting each other.
Like when Playground first came out and people were doing 1v1s, that was awesome because it was all offensive building. No one was just hiding in a 1x1 with a roof and a stair.
But there was also no money involved. Or was there? Did they actually?
They didn't. It was just
people probably
practice.
People probably bet on that.
Probably, yeah. So get rid of bloom, put in a different system, stop rewarding placement. I don't think there's really anything else.
Well, one thing I think companies should promote their competitive scene.
Yeah.
Because I think
some games do.
I know they do. I just think it should be pushed more, because those are the people that are the best at your game. Those are the people that are going to play the most. They're going to stream it. They're going to provide content, and games need content creators. Yeah,
I agree. Okay, well, I think that was a pretty good podcast. We hopefully Fortnite will listen to us.
Yeah, Epic.
Epic, if you're out there, come on, get your shit together. All right, well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Goodbye.